You're now tuned in to the hottest podcast in the world, the Stay Woke Podcast, right here on the SonicBreakdown.com.
Welcome to another Stay Woke Podcast. This is D. Ray Brinson, and we got your boy, producer, co-host, William West.
Hello, everybody.
And, of course, this podcast is, again, presented by the SonicBreakdown.com. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. Give us some love on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. We got it's either the Sonic Breakdown or the Sonic Breakdown on all of those platforms. We appreciate the love for checking us out again. But let's get into the point of this podcast for today. And it's about that news about the Kanye Drake collabo album that they might do.
Now, I'm only hearing this from you right now, but is this legit? Has this been put out in the world?
Kanye tweeted saying that's a reality.
Okay.
That this is happening. This is gonna happen. This is going down.
Okay, let's talk about it then.
I just want to real quick give out my initial reaction. I was like, damn, does this mean we're not gonna get a Watch the Throne Part 2? Because Jay is getting to that point where we gonna only get the best of Jay for so long. There is bruh. Even the great Michael Jordan had a point where it's bruh, you got to get out the league. Nigga, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna be an office dude pretty soon. We're only gonna see him in an office.
Yeah, he gonna have to do the same thing like Jordan did. Just stay in the presidential role. Stay in the suite.
Oh man.
And I don't want to say when that time's gonna come because I never want to underestimate it. I never want to see it.
I don't want to.
But it's gonna happen with Jay. It's gonna happen with Nas. It's gonna happen. Retirement comes at a point. Bruh. I'm gonna be real. It's gonna come. I don't want to see when it will, but it's gonna come.
Yeah.
So
it's bound to happen.
You got to get that Watch the Throne Part 2 in soon. You know what I mean? So that was my initial reaction. But let's get back to the Kanye Drake collabo. I want to first approach what you think that album is sonically, because again, this is a SonicBreakdown.com. We everything stems from the music, stems from because sound waves pass through every atom. That's the motto of that's how the Sonic Breakdown started. So sonically, how do you think that album's gonna sound? Do you think Kanye's gonna have a heavy influence on the production, or he's gonna leave that a mixture of Kanye Drake? Because Drake has a good ear for production.
To quote the homie,
as well as lyrically and as the style.
To quote the homie F and Maddie, he said half of it is gonna be moody, and half of it is gonna be songs about your ex-girlfriend. Shout out to
the homie F and Maddie. I gave him a shout out to see if he wanted to come on the podcast. So for this one, but he had other obligations at this time. So
let me do this first.
All right.
Let me give you my hopes first, and then let me just kind of give you a realistic kind of
idea of what it will be.
Might be. Okay, so right. my hopes is gonna be strong boom bap raps, because I miss the old Kanye, the chop the soul Kanye. Okay, so I miss that old Kanye. So hopefully, maybe something just clicks in his brain that, you know what, I'm gonna get back to the old Kanye.
Bring it back.
So that good soulful hip hop, that really good sounding boom bap soulful hip hop.
When good music just started.
Yeah,
when good music records just started, when that production company,
like what he did on the B album for Common.
Woo! Hey, cause that production wise,
that is a perfect.
And then Common laced over those beats, cause we were listening to that the other day. Cause you bring it back for me, cause I had it on my in my library, let's say, and I heard it in a minute, but I was like, okay, this was a very, very, very solid production, soul wise. So
that's what I'm hoping for, and to compare to that Common album with B, Drake can do that right now with that vibe, that feel, that sound.
That to me matches his that would match his sound nicely.
Yeah.
Because like you said, it fits in it. It's in the same ballpark, is the same arena as what he's doing now. And you can be emotional on those type of productions
Yeah.
because of the soul that the production already entails.
It'll bring out that passion. That's what my hopes are.
And then Kanye can give us that grittiness that
oh,
you need.
That
That
he-
would be
that
the
he
nice
did on,
match because that would give the balance.
yeah.
Because that's what I feel like sometimes on Drake's albums is that there's not that balance of
There's just too much
even
of
on
one
the
side.
even on the same track, much less on the same album. Because there are albums like on Views, the track Views, to me is a nice track, but then there's other softer tracks that is like, come on, if you can have that balance, and like you said, if Drake has that softer side and then Kanye has that more grittier side on the same track with that soul sample, that allows both, because you can have the hard drum kicks that matches the grittiness that Kanye will bring with the soul sample that complements the soul or the emotional aspect that Drake will bring. I think that would be a nice mix. But do you think that's going to happen?
No.
What do you think will happen?
I think what would happen is it'll be similar to what he did right now on Views, where it would be kind of gloomy and moody, but with the production being matching that feeling, but on a higher level than what he's used to doing with 40, because 40 is his go-to dude when it comes to production and doing all his albums.
And that's not to slight 40
No,
in his
40's
production.
dope.
It just means, but Kanye's Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye's Kanye.
It's like,
Like we already know what 40 and Drake put together when they get together. I would say it's a mixture of what he did now with Pablo and Yeezus, mixed in what we know what Drake does best, which is being about the ladies.
I hope it's not like Yeezus. Because
And I didn't even hear the whole Yeezus album. I'll be honest
I
with you.
did. I listened to the Yeezus,
Yeah.
and I'm not, because when I say that, that's like, again, I'm gonna go back to the sports metaphors. Like when you say like you're not as good as Jordan, it's like you're comparing him to Jordan. Like when I say like Yeezus wasn't a good album, I'm comparing it to Kanye's collection. I'm not comparing it to just hip hop in general. I'm not comparing it to like. There's a lot of hip hop artists out right now that have albums that I would listen to Yeezus more than I would those albums, and I don't like Yeezus. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like I want to put that in that framework, that context, because when you don't put in that context, people can misconstrue it. So Yeezus to me is not a good album in comparison to Kanye's discography.
My Twisted Black Fantasy.
That is to me production wise, my dark twisted
Yeah,
fantasy.
There you go.
That to me, production, like to me, that is a masterpiece for me, because the production, the experimentation on the production, the lyrics match with it, the emotion, the context, the concept, all of it, it brings you into a world, and the visuals that he even matched with it, like it brings you into a world that like, to me is just a work of art. It's like I said, it's a masterpiece. Like to me, that's why I consider that as his best work, as a complete work. Now, if you say just if you're saying what's the best lyrical album, I might go with College Dropout or Graduation more. But when you say to me a complete artwork, my Dark Twisted Fantasy is that. And I don't think we'll ever get that again. Just to be honest, I just think because everything that the culmination of emotion that caused for him to create that, I don't think will culminate again.
Let me put head to head Drake's best album and Kanye's best album to kind of form what I hope for. So what I hope for, it would be Drake's. Let's see here.
Thank me later.
It's a toss-up between that one and Nothing Was the Same.
Yeah, that's what
So I'll do that. Best versus best, in my opinion, or sound that I would love to hear. The best sound that I would love to hear would be "Nothing Was the Same" versus "My Dark Twisted Fantasy."
If they can accomplish that,
that would be the perfect combination of what I want to hear from Drake and what I want to hear from Kanye put together into one album.
if
But
they can accomplish that, that would be
the thing
Kanye can actually.
the thing that hurts me most as a fan is that we can say that, but they don't do it, or it just doesn't come out that way. But you know damn well they can.
Yes,
They can do that because
they have the ability. Yeah, they have the ability
to do it. But you want to be too cool.
We've seen it because we seen it. It's just because literally,
Is it too
literally
easy? Is it too easy?
the production and the reason, like, I just really want to go back quickly to Yeezus. The reason why I didn't like Yeezus is because part of the reason why I didn't like Yeezus is because the minimalistic aspect to Yeezus. I like the complicated. I like the more instead of the deconstructed form that he had on Yeezus. I like the constructed the complicated form of the production that Yeezus. I like the layers that he adds because I think he has a great eye of adding enough layers, but being able and being wise enough not to put too many layers. To right at the point when you're gonna say, if I add one more layer on, I'm gonna fuck this whole shit up. I'm gonna fuck it all up. And he has that ability to say, like, he can put that layer on and then he'll go, no, take that one layer back. And then it's like it's right there, it's perfect. Like, to me, and that's where he lies, and that's what he did with My Dark Twisted Fantasy. Because like some of those tracks are so long, but they don't feel like that long because the breadth that it has, the evolution that it has, the dynamics that it involves. The flow of emotions that it takes you through, as well as like that video that we watched shows about the use of vocals, the uses of voices. If he can match that with the fact that Drake has the ability to have multiple different tones and ability of styles, so he can match those layers nicely. I just think he could be, like you said, matching those two albums together. That's what you can get because lyrically, like you said, that album, Drake's album at that point was more lyrically dense than some of his others, with the right tone. And the production was nice. Yeah, the production was elevated.
Now to piggyback off of that, what I think it may come out to is something like what Kanye did on 808s and Heartbreaks. And and Drake's Views.
I think that sorry for coughing into the mic, guys, but I think that's more likely to be the case too. I agree too, just because that tends to be more accepted by the masses.
And if that's what they're gonna go for.
And I think that's what they're going to go for. Sorry to say, and I'm not trying to demean or discredit or be I guess combative in regards to saying that they're selling out, but it's a business as well. Like, I mean, they have brands that they want that, and the point of the brand is to make money. And the more money they make, the better they can do, the more influence they have, so forth and so on. But, and that's why I say I don't think we'll ever get a Dark Twisted Fantasy again, because that album, I think,
I'm gonna cry.
That album, he didn't care what anybody had to say about it. That was the album he wanted to make because based on the feelings he was feeling.
He was talking his shit.
And he was talking his shit, and he's like, I don't care what anybody got to say. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm feeling. This is the what I want to. And he didn't care if it sold 0 or 1 million.
He was on
this is what the
shit,
album that he was gonna do. And I guess the company was fine with it, and it worked. But I don't think either of those artists, Kanye or Drake, are at the point where they're willing to do that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they prove me wrong and they do that. I do want to go to, based on the previous albums, like the previous collabos, like taking into the fact that Kanye's already done another collabo album with Jay-Z, Watch the Throne, and like I wanted to get your views on that. Like, do you think Kanye changed for that album, or do you think Jay-Z changed for that album, or do you think they both changed to make that album?
On
Watch the Throne.
Watch the Throne.
Because to me, that will give us somewhat of an insight of what Kanye at least will possibly do, if he's willing to change or if he's willing to just stay the him.
I feel that on that album, that Kanye brought Jay-Z into Kanye's world or mind.
I think so too.
I think because I think
I think there's several productions that he went on he normally would have said no to.
I think he just kind of like told Jay, trust me, roll with me, do what you do, but do it over here with what I want to mess around with or what's popping right now. That's how I feel about that album. I don't think any of them changed drastically their styles themselves to make that album or to collaborate on that album, but I really feel it was more kind of who was the leader of that project was Kanye, and then Jay-Z followed with the lyrics as a rapper.
Yeah, because Jay-Z just has that ability.
Yeah,
I think
he can rap over anything.
I think you're right. To me, that's how I took it. Was like basically this was a Kanye album. Watch the Throne was a Kanye album, and he's like
Featuring Jay-Z.
He's like not necessarily featuring Jay-Z, but it was like Kanye was like, this is an album that I would do for me, and he's like, but Jay, if you hop on this, like it would elevate the album because you have the lyrical content and you have the ability to match and write over these beats. I don't think anybody else in the game at this point can write over these beats and match lyrically and surpass me or match me on these beats and in the style. And Jay had that ability. But like if somebody went to Jay with just this production laid out in the same format as it was and was like, Jay, here, let's make an album. These are the beats and this is the order that you're going to make these beats in. Make an album. He'd be like, nah, I'm not going to do this beat. Let's switch this beat to another beat. Let's do this beat to another beat. I need a little bit of different flow here. I want a different style here. I want a different feel here. But because, like you said, it was Kanye, he said, all right, I'm going to ride with it. And I'm going to match it. I'm going to match your feel. Like, you go in, give me your feel. Because as it has been rumored, I can't substantiate these claims that whatever Jay rides on, he always makes sure he goes last. I don't know if these are true. Again, I am prefacing these by saying I cannot substantiate these claims.
What we see,
but this is what I've heard by various sources that this is the case. Again, I don't know, but if that's the case, it makes sense because if you have the ability to match people's styles and match their flow, not necessarily match their flow, but match their style to suit your lyrical content without sacrificing your ability. You need to hear what they're going to go with in order to do that, to make the flow of the song better. Because we've heard collabos where people have too drastic flows and it doesn't match the song and it sounds two-pieced. You know what I'm saying? Like it sounds like they recorded it at one studio and another. Where in other cases, it sounds like they recorded at the same studio at the same time and that wasn't the case. So that's what I've heard, and maybe that makes sense, but I think we might be able to get something similar because Drake does have the ability to go over many different styles that he might just be open enough to say, Kanye, I trust your vision. You do the production. You give me the guide of where emotionally this is going, and I'll piggyback off of that because he does have the range.
Exactly.
I don't think he's as lyrically dense as Jay-Z, of course, but he has a different lane. Who else would you like to see Kanye do a collabo with?
Ooh, Nas. And I think they were supposed to do something a while ago.
I would like to see that,
rumor,
but you know who I would like to see him do a collabo with? That I think would be fucking amazing?
Who?
Andre 3 Stacks, bro.
Ooh, damn. That's
Because Andre likes those like very experimental like type of production, but like very like instrument based, like real music, soul sound as well. That I think like that would give Kanye some like freedom production wise. Cause he always wants to mess with orchestras and bands, and like that would be the feel that like you can match with Andre 3 Sax. And then Andre give us a full solid album.
Man, that's asking for too much, I think.
I think it is too.
It's like,
hey, I'm asking for it. It's
I know
like
you're asking for something that could be nearly impossible to do.
but bro, like think about that. See, say that wouldn't be raw though.
That would be super raw. That I agree. That would be super raw.
3 Stacks doing a complete album with Kanye. Nas too would be that shit would be dope though.
Kanye,
But I would want to see the
Kanye and J. Cole.
for both of those, for the Jay-Z and J. Cole, I mean not Jay-Z, the Nas and J. Cole Kanye album, I would want to see the Heart of the City Kanye though. That type of production, like
Yeah,
bring it back to that.
to the Blueprint
Yeah.
album.
But those are just hopes and prayers, man. Hopes and dreams, wishes.
We'll leave it at that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that wraps it up for the Kanye Drake. What we hope, imagine
It's leaving me
is
thinking.
gonna happen.
This
gonna
podcast
go.
is leaving me thinking about all these possibilities.
So,
But
you know-
I don't want to be. I just don't want to be disappointed. There's so many great things that can come out of this.
I mean, the pressure's on them, man. The pressure is on them. We
Like Watch
just,
the Throne.
yeah. I would like a Watch the Thrones Part 2.
Yeah. Just Jay and Kanye.
Jay and Kanye, Watch the Throne Part 2. Before, like I said, the retirement time comes. And you know what? Shout out to my man Cudi. I would like a Kanye and Kid Cudi. Tweeted again. Get well soon to my homie Kid Cudi. Mental illness is a real issue. It's not a made up issue, made up thing. It's a real thing that should be treated like any other mental disease, like cancer, diabetes, anything like that. It's a real illness that that needs to be treated and viewed as such. So shout out to Kid Cudi, and there's nothing to be ashamed of dealing with depression and
Serious.
and things of that nature. So again, shout out to Kid Cudi. You the homie. I love your music. Keep doing what you're doing, and I can't wait for the album. Anticipating that. So I just want to shout that out. But yeah, we waiting for that Kanye Drake album. So thanks for listening to another Stay Woke podcast. This is D. Ray Brinson, and we got producer, co-host William West.
Yes.
Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, all that. Give us a love, and we out. Live, listen to some great music, and above all, love more.